Welcome to my home and specifically my dining room. This has gotten a little bit cluttered compared to what it normally is, and I also need to give it a good deep clean. And I have been trying to just take one room a day. Overall, this room is usually clutter free, but the one little thing that does bug me just a little bit is that my husband works in here, and when he works, he'll have his phone and different things. Maybe it's a charger, that he'll put on our sideboard while he's working, and sometimes those things get left there. And I got this idea from Clutterbug. She did this in a kitchen island where clutter was always building up, like bills and that sort of thing. So I got these woven baskets on Amazon. I can leave them linked in the description box below. And I decided to follow her example and to put one of these on the sideboard on the side, so that my husband can put his phone and any little chargers and things that he uses while he's working there. And then I won't be frustrated seeing things on the sideboard that don't belong there, and he won't be frustrated with me always putting them in a drawer and him wondering where in the world they are. So I showed it to him. He thought it was a good idea too. I'm doing this first because I want to give it time to really set on the side of the piece of furniture so that I don't have to worry about it coming off. I have had some problems in the past where I'm not putting the command strip on properly. In fact, look how it's red side out, and then I realize, oh, whoops, that's not the wall side. So you want to make sure that the black side is the part that goes onto the wall or piece of furniture. It's also best to wipe the wall or piece test the spot if you're doing this on furniture with rubbing alcohol. Don't use household cleaners or water, but rubbing alcohol is best. Then you separate the strip, remove the red liner that you press to the hook, and then the black liner the black liner goes against the piece of furniture or the wall. And then you want to leave it for at least 30 seconds to let it really adhere before you put any weight on it. I'm going to clean and then I'll go back and put my basket there. That way I don't have to worry about it, falling off later. I'm getting things tidied up. This is not ideal for me. This is where we put the cat food for right now. I would like to, again, eat down our pantry. We have too much in there right now, and I'd like to transfer the cat food to the pantry. I'm just not ready to do that. So when I put new food in, I like to clean the Rubbermaid before I put the food in. That way it stays clean. I'm trying to finish up my cleaners, and I had this Mrs. Meyer's, I think it's the gingerbread scent, and you just can't get what's on the bottom, so I took the lid off, and I'm going to use up the rest of this bottle while I clean my dining room, and then I can get it thrown out. I had to be careful because even though I wrote on Sharpie, this all-purpose cleaner was starting to remove the Sharpie, and I do have each cat's name on their box because they do have different food. I have one skinny cat and one cat that kind of needs to lose weight, and especially if we ever have people taking care of the cats, I like to have them labeled, and I also have the serving size and how often they get fed each day written right on the Rubbermaid. That way, whenever we do take a trip and need someone to take care of the cats, they have all the instructions written right on the food. Now, for my heavier cat, we have to use a prescription food for him, and so I buy it in a big bag so that I'm not constantly going back and forth to the veterinarian's office. Also, before that, you saw me remove my husband's jacket from a chair. He'll often help with driving people to appointments, and so then he'll come home, throw his jacket on a chair, and get right back to work. And you know how that goes. Sometimes it just gets left there. But as you notice, we don't have piles of things on the table. I actually have the sideboard decorated, and part of the reason for that is if I have decor, then things aren't going to pile on the surface. For example, on my kitchen island, things tend to pile there. Also, this is a very inexpensive table. I think because we got two of them, they were each like $150, and they came with the chairs as well. Well, we have more chairs than we need, so I was getting some of those stored away. You can see Woozy, he's decided, no, I'm not staying in this room while she's cleaning. I'm just going to get right out of her way. Before I can get the floor washed, because it does need to be washed, I'm going to get it swept. And I kept it in real time for the first clip. I was actually super tired this day, and it was about 2 o'clock, 2:30, which isn't my highest energy of the day anyway. So I wanted you to see exactly how fast I'm going, because when I am super tired and I don't want to clean a room, the way I get myself to clean it is, number one, I'll put something in my ears. And in this case, I was listening to a book on Audible. And then I will just work very, very slowly. And I find if I work really slow, I can get something done even if I'm super tired like I was on this day. My floors are actually a lot dirtier than they look. Back in the middle of April, when Yvonne had her baby shower, my son and grandchildren came, and wife, of course, and there was food, or not food, but splatter, I'll say, underneath the table from my granddaughter, who's a year and a half. And although the food itself had been cleaned up, the splatter was still there. And so I really, really needed to get it wiped up. I'm getting all of the cat boxes put in the middle of the table so that I can clean the table. Did I tell you how much these tables cost? I can't remember if I actually said it, but they were like $150 a piece, came with the chairs. Yeah, I do think I said that. I'm going to get the chairs up on the table. Part of the reason we bought this table was I wanted to get rid of my cafe table, couldn't really afford a table, so I felt like this would just do the job. Now look into my kitchen. You can see things are a mess. Some of that is just moving things around to clean, and some of that, I don't know, I need to clean my kitchen next. But I'm not focused on the kitchen today, and I can get help for that. I am focused on this dining room, and this just gives you an idea on what needs to be swept up on this end of the room. Also under that window, I will open the window and fill the bird feeder out the window. And sometimes I get bird seed on the floor. So there was a little bit of bird seed left over from when I had filled up the bird feeder. And I'm going to get it all swept up so that I can just wipe things down and then clean the floors. Also, I do not bend over to dust the mop boards or the radiators. I just run over them with my broom and call it good. I feel like it's super important for me to keep the dining room clean, because this is where our family gathers to eat dinner every night. And also, I have to confess, I actually call it supper, but I'm saying dinner for the sake of the video. But that's where our family gathers every day. If I let clutter build up in here, then it's just as easy to go sit in front of the TV and eat our dinner. And I would much rather that we're in here as a family. So that's one of the reasons why I like to keep it clean, and I like to keep it decluttered. So decluttering is so important because it makes it so much easier to clean. I was tired enough. If I had to dodge piles of clutter everywhere, I know there is no way I would have cleaned this room. But keeping the main areas of my house decluttered really does help me to keep them clean, because I know in a half an hour I can get everything wiped up and swept and all of the things, and move on with the day and do other things that I would rather be doing. I have toyed with the idea of putting a rug in this room, but it's just so much easier to clean without a rug that at the end of the day, I have just decided to go with our plank flooring. But cleaning surfaces when we eat or where we eat is so important, of course, to prevent the spread of germs and bacteria, reducing illness. It's where our hands are going to be touching, and then putting our hands in our mouth, of course. So it's so important to keep things clean. Also, I do have cats, so I always want to make sure I'm removing pet dander, and of course I'm removing dust, and that's allergens that can trigger respiratory issues and sensitivities. So as we have company, it's always important that they have a clean space to breathe in so that they're not having their allergies triggered. In fact, we do have someone our family is quite close to who is allergic to cats, and I have 2 of them. So I like to make sure that I'm keeping track of pet dander. Also, you'll notice I have gray flooring, and one of the reasons I chose gray flooring was because my cat hair, or it's not my cat hair, it's my cat's hair, does not show on that. And these tulips I got at Target in the dollar spot, and I think they're super cute. I did have to cut them down a little bit, but I thought they were pretty realistic looking. My preference is to have real flowers, but it is just too much for me to keep up with right now because you might know I am trying to get my entire house and all of our storage areas inside and outside completely decluttered by my 60th birthday, which is June 4th. So it's less than a month now. And so I feel like I'm down to the wire and I am rage decluttering all over this house. These are my beautiful hummingbird statues, and then the little claws have hummingbirds. You can probably see with the flowers. My friend Kathy, that is also on the channel, bought me those, and I just love them so much. And now I'm getting the front cleaned. I got this sideboard, I'm pretty sure, on Amazon. What I usually do is I hunt for furniture on Amazon, and then I'll compare to Wayfair, and whatever one has the best price is the one I will go with. Not super expensive, and so that is another thing I love about it. And we put the hardware on it. We took the hardware off, and I wanted the brushed nickel hardware. And then I also have drilled holes in the back because for a while this was a charging station, and I could have the doors shut and anything we are charging, laptops as well as phones or iPads, behind the doors, because I do not like to see the storage. I like to have everything behind drawers and doors. What is that? I am a ladybug. If you've ever taken the cleaning or the organizing test online from Clutterbug, I am definitely a ladybug. I don't want to see it. So here I am steaming the floor, and again, I wanted to show you just how fast I'm actually going. I'm not going quickly. I'm just taking it one step at a time. And then I have this towel so that I don't make footprints. I like to use a steamer because it doesn't get the floor overly wet the way it would if I were mopping it. And unfortunately, I have tried to find the steamer on Amazon so that I could link it for you, but alas, I could not find it. I have had a couple of steamers, and this one, I know it's not priced at more than $150. It has the light on the front, which is nice, not overly necessary. It has 3 levels of steam, which could be important, but really, if I were to buy a steamer again, and this is one that the brand actually sent me, what I would do is one thing that I love this one for. The pads are removable and washable. And also the biggest feature is that they are on a rotating, they're on 2 rotating mechanics. I don't know how to say that, but it's when it's turned on, they're always spinning and moving. You can get steamers that just have like a pad that's stationary, and you have to always keep it moving. But I like this one because even if I were to sit it and it was on, it's not on right now, I shut it off, but those pads are always moving. And the reason why that's important is you don't want what I've done over there. You don't want wetness sitting on your flooring, depending on what kind of flooring that you have. And so the fact that this is always moving just makes less work for me. So if I were to look for a steamer again, I would make sure that it does have those rotating pads that are always moving. One thing I love about these inexpensive little tables, they're also super lightweight and easy to move. So I'm just moving them so that I can get to places on the floor without trying overly hard. If you're watching this as soon as I post it, it is Mother's Day tomorrow. So happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a wonderful day, no matter what you are doing, whether you're celebrating your mom or whether you are being celebrated. I think anyone who takes care of others is in effect a mother. We all have this mothering instinct. We're all taking care of one another. So whether or not you have birth children or not, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I know sometimes it feels like a quick clean doesn't really do anything, but even if you're not able to wash your floor, it is always great to just give your rooms as much as you can a quick wipe, and even spot cleaning the floor, because buildup of stains and spills can lead to damage on your furniture or your flooring, and it's just not going to last as long. So it's great if you can even do a 10-minute tidy in each room, wiping things down. and lifting any spills that are on the floor. And of course, it's always going to be healthier for you living in the space as well. Also, when it comes to cleaning walls, I'm not cleaning a wall on here, but in the past, I would often try to spot clean with the Magic Erase, and I do not recommend Magic Erase on the walls. Use something that is made for walls. Magic Erase actually removes the paint as well as the stain, and you're going to notice uneven spotting on your walls if you are using it. If you have something that can't be lifted with just all-purpose cleaner, I find the Zep foaming wall cleaner to be super good, and that would be more of what I would recommend, but never underestimate 10 or 20 minutes in a room. It really does more than you think, and if you're keeping things wiped up, if you're keeping the room tidy and decluttered, it is just so fast to clean, and honestly, it wouldn't need to be deep cleaned very often at all. If you do struggle with clutter in your dining room, this might be a little unpopular, but if you can't get it decluttered right away, of course, go through, grab out any trash, and put that away. And then I would take the clutter and put it in a Rubbermaid box or something, even if it gets left in the room. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here in just a second. So that you can at least have your surfaces cleared off, and then as you can go through, even if you take 5 minutes a day, go through the box or boxes where you have put all the clutter. You can see Yvonne's hand there on the couch. She is zonked out asleep. I'm going to tell you about her in just a second, but I have been going through the baby clothes, and this is a box that is for things that are over 12 months, so like 18 month through toddler is what is going on this. So I have it labeled, and then I'm separating all the cloths, burp cloths and towels and blankets and bibs. So I know it's unpopular that I am doing this for her, but I would like to tell you that I have never lived with or been close to someone as sick as her through her whole pregnancy. She's in the 9th month. She has been nauseous and vomiting through the whole thing. Not every single day anymore, but definitely at least weekly. Her blood pressure is super low. When it was taken yesterday, when she got her iron infusion, it was 103/63. So it's hard to have energy when your blood pressure is super low. And what else? She also has dangerously low iron. They told us that her doing supplements or, eating red meat and all that stuff would not even work. She just had her 4th infusion because the first 2 worked a little bit, but not enough. So she is on, and then she also had elevated thyroid. So that was taking away her energy. So we are just gathering and collecting every reason under the sun for this poor girl to be sick and have zero energy. So the hope is as soon as she delivers the baby, which will be definitely in the next 3 or 4 weeks, because that's how long they're going to let her go, that some of these things will improve again and she'll be back to her old self. But if she did not live with me, I, as her mom, would be traveling to go where she is so that I could help her. And I think because I live with her, a lot of people think I shouldn't be helping her as much as I am. But just like you would for any of your kids when they're sick, right now, she needs the extra help. And I guarantee you that whenever she has extra energy or has any energy at all, she is cleaning my bathrooms often. She is doing dishes and she is helping around the house. So we're helping each other. There's times I'm super tired and she's helping me. She's always my grocery buddy, my Costco buddy, and she does a lot of cleaning around the house. So this is just something that I can do for her when she's not feeling well. The reason that I am doing this right now is because you had seen me steam the floor, and even though I wiped it, kind of did the foot on the towel wipe, I wanted to just give it a few extra minutes to dry before I put everything back together. So I thought, okay, this is a nice little short chore, plus I was tired, wanted to sit down for a minute. This is a nice chore that's easy to do, enjoyable, because baby stuff is so stinking cute, and I could get that done and be resting at the same time, and then get back in the dining room, set it up, and be done with it. Then we could move on to dinner, And honestly, at 4 o'clock, that is where I say I'm going to get dinner ready, and that's the last constructive thing I'm doing for this day. And the rest of the day, I am relaxing. So I'm just getting everything moved back where it was, and we'll get the chairs put back down. And I had taken 2 chairs and stored them. You know, we want them for when we have company, but I don't like one extra thing in a room that doesn't need to be there. So I took the extra chairs out and put them in our basement. It was really only 2. And then there's one in the living room that the cats like to sit on so they can watch birds. You can see Woozy over there on my kitchen island. It feels so good to have this done. Originally, I thought I might wash the windows, but I was just too tired to take on the windows. That's going to be a separate job for a separate day. And that is my last piece of advice, is doing what you can is always better than doing nothing because you can't do everything. So the dining room is clean, it's organized, it's tidy, it feels great, and it's a place my husband can work in well, and our family can have nice dinners in. Remember, God loves you, I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.